Hi there and welcome to another episode of Dad Dex Does, and today we're going to do farm economics. Right, and as you can see in the last few days on the farm we haven't sold much stuff at all, about 20,000 worth of crop, so our impact on the market should be minimalised. However, there has been a problem. We've been losing lots of money. A few days ago I had about 93,000 cash, now we're in the red, and the problem is the costs. But is it a really big problem? Now, some of that money was wasted, I'm going to say, on leasing a tractor, and I wanted to see what happened, and it didn't go well. And there's a very good reason for that, and that is the hourly charge. So I leased this tractor here, and as you can see, you get charged the initial cost plus per hour use. So I gave the tractor to a worker, and I let him drive the seed drill, and it cost me that much money because he went over an hour. In fact, he went to exactly 1.0 hours, and I stopped him and I turned in the lease, and I got charged the extra hour, nearly $5,000. So the lesson learned is do not lease equipment for a general work. Do it for a one-hit job like I did in the baling video. The other concern is the vehicle overheads, and they look scary, especially compared to the last games, and I've seen people sort of quite worry about those costs and the impact they're having on their game. And they even maybe will rush to replace equipment to get that cost down, but don't, because the maths don't suggest that is a good idea at all. If you look at the case, which is now, if you look at these figures, we're overpaying $2,000 a day for the maintenance on this harvester. However, $2,000 out of its price is about 65 days anyway to get that saving back, and it's getting older every day, so it's never really going to work out. Basically, do not replace a piece of equipment just because you're worried about its maintenance cost. Prioritize that piece of equipment when you're looking at switching around. In my game, I replaced one of the cases early on with a Hurleyman, really because I wanted an extra front mounted tractor, and the Hurleyman could do the work. But do not rush just to get that off your overheads. Go and do a job. That is how you counteract it. Same with the staff. The staff costs look a bit scary, again higher than in the last game. But go and do some work and leave the workers to do your fields. You will make more money that way. It's a better use of your time. So you go and do some work, and I know they've nerfed the time bonuses, but even so, it's still the best use of your time. So field 18 is right near my farm, and I'm prioritising that one. It's likely to be the first field I'm going to want to buy, so I've been doing jobs for this man, my friend Alex, and hey presto, 100% affinity, whatever you want to call it. There's basically a 20% discount on the price of that field now that I've filled his green bar up doing jobs for it. Now, in terms of jobs, I don't know, you probably all noticed, you can switch equipment by saying no to the job and asking for the job again, and the equipment will switch around. It'll be the equipment appropriate for the job. But also notice that the farmer who owns that field, and it's just down the road, he owns this field. Old James here, he's got more than one field. If you're doing a job in one of these fields, the affinity is going to apply to all of his fields. Also working towards that achievement, do a job for each farmer, it doesn't mean a job for each field. Now to the numbers. Now I was getting ready to sell a trainload of stuff at these prices. They were better than they had been. The price of barley had crashed down into the low 300s. They've got red pointers on the prices. I've got wheat, I've got barley and sunflowers I want to sell. I'm going to go for it. I really need the cash. But I thought I'd save the game and then run the simulation. Run the simulation for a little while. And I left the simulation running, and I was going to sort of save the game, see what happened one way, just see how the market reacted to my sale. Look at what happened to the prices. They're all going up. This is 12 hours later. And I think, well, I'm going to keep running with this. Now, before I can really know what's good and what's what, I need to know kind of a relative value of each crop. So how much is a crop of wheat out of a field going to make me compared to a crop of, say, soya out of exactly the same field under exactly the same circumstances? Right, and these numbers here are those kind of relative yields. So the system works like this. You multiply the market price for each crop by these factors here. So you get twice as much soya out of the wheat, so you need to half the price of soya to compare it to the price of wheat. So you can plan, how much yield you're going to get out of a field in terms of logistics, what money you might want to do. These are the results at the beginning of the game as I play. At this stage of the game as I played it, these are the results, the relative values. Now you can see that beets is where it's at. Obviously, the market's going to vary and it's going to go up and down a little bit, but as a general rule, sugar beets is a great return. Potatoes, I haven't tried. I'm not going to guess. Some of the ratios have changed in this game from the last game, as has the market in general. And I'm very pleased about where corn stands there, because obviously we need to grow it to feed to the pigs. And in the last games, corn was a really poor crop. It was only worth growing if you were willing to wait for a really good, great demand. In this game, it's a very, very viable cash crop indeed. Right, and back to the sale. This isn't quite real time. This is a trip down to the train station. It's not marked on the map. I've left field 14. It is right here. It's closer than the silo in the farmyard. You can empty grain in here. You can empty your crops into here and transfer them to the train. The train is central to my plan, I think, having looked at the prices up at, is it Maplefield Mill up there. You can also, bear this in mind, you can reload your lorries if for some reason you need to sell somewhere else due to the prices. You can refill your lorries here. You've also got, look, 500,000 litres storage here. Now that's fantastic. That's 5 times more than you got on the farm, and it's basically in almost part of the farm. Consider it part of the farm. Here's the train. Now I'm filling it up. I've got 120,000 barley in there already. Those first 2 cars are actually one big car. That'll hold 120,000. The 2 cars behind it hold 80,000 each. Sorry, 90,000 each, I believe. Yeah, giving the train a total of 300,000 capacity. Now here we go. We're off. Lights on for safety. Test the horn and all that. Now the train is central to my plan. It's a great way of getting it around to this sale point, which does seem, from what I've already seen of the market, to be quite, relatively strong prices. Not always the best, but always up there. Do also note we're just approaching now an area that is basically a mimic of the train station we just used. So you can get the train in there, get the crops on the train, off the train, on the lorries, off the lorries. You could use this, I guess, if you wanted to sell down in the south western corner of the map to some of those points. You might want to use the train to get the goods here and then use a truck for shorter journeys. Opposite, almost in the northeast corner of the map, on the other loop of the train track, and I think the only purpose of that other loop is that there's another one of those facilities there. You can harvest the fields up in that northeast corner of the map, bring it all to the train station, and then get it all, transfer it to the other train. It's just basically a logistical tool, and it is a good one. So here we are. We're selling. I'm not going to sell everything at once. I want to see what happens. Bit of an experiment. That's what we're here to do. I'm going to sell roughly half of it now, and roughly half of it after midnight. Now, in the old game, the hour would collapse the price. If I made a sale this big in the old games, as soon as the hour ticked to the next hour, the price would crash and it could stay down for a long time. Basically, you hoarded crops in the old game, waited for a great demand. You got them all sold within an hour before the price crashed, and you basically did that over and over again once you'd got yourself established. Now basically I've done that. Now I've waited, and I'm going to let the simulation run a little bit now, and here we go. Little while later, next day, certainly over the next hour, we're selling the rest. Now the prices haven't really changed from how they were earlier at all. I'm actually going to fast forward time now, get the simulation running again. I'm really keen to see what goes. So the starting prices, we did not really affect the market at all with the first sale before midnight. In the morning, we're checking the prices again. That we're starting to have an effect now. The price of barley's dropping. It's got a red arrow. Nothing else has really moved yet. Right, now we're running this through 8 hours. Look at the movement on the prices. It's crazy. Look at the price of wool. If you've got sheep, wool, I haven't tried sheep yet, but that is crazy money compared to the last game. I don't know how much they cost to run, but here we go. It's running and running and running. The price is gonna hit a low point. It really is. But is it gonna be a long, horrible crash? No, it's not. Right, we're now here. We're 24 hours later. After we've made the sale, I've done nothing else in this game at all apart from sit here running the simulation. The prices have dipped, but the prices have recovered. They're really not that bad. Wheat's down about 20%. Sorry, a third from, I guess, the selling point, but that's not awful. Barley is exactly where it was when I first started looking at the market prices. Probably 36 hours ago, 24 hours ago, I made the sale. So the market's recovered quite nicely. And now have a look at this, guys. The market, this is another 24 hours later. I've just let the simulation run. There's a couple of red arrows down there pointing down. Is that anything to do with me? Is this just another market simulation running? I've seen huge crashes that were nothing to do with me. The market seems to be very volatile, and just look at the price of wool. I guess that's the absolute maximum price it can get to. 7,000 looks a very round number to me. But what I think I've learned here is that you can ride out the market. It's not going to be an absolutely horrible crash like I've heard and like has been suggested. You can afford to sell a big load and the market will recover. You're not going to damage it. If you had a different experience, please let me know in the comments, because I think this is a long-term project, and also obviously as your farm's bigger, your loads are going to be bigger. The market may be ready for much bigger transactions to be taking place than I'm making at the moment. Well, thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been useful. I hope I explained this reasonably clearly. It is a bit tangly for me. I hope I've unentangled some of it for you. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a comment if you got a question. Thank you very much.